All right, we are going live. Let me check this. All right, we got a few people on here. I'm just getting this loaded up here. All right, I'm going to tag this, put it to featured, and here we go. Hello, everybody. Hey, let me text the audio here. And there we go. Yep, audio works. All right. What's going on, everybody? As you can tell, I am coming to you. Mute that. Yep, audio works. All right, coming to you live from Orlando, Florida, from a hotel room at the Doubletree Sea World. I flew out here late, kind of late last night. Got here about 11:30 last night here. Oh, you bet, Lisa. You bet. Hey, Sam. Hey, I'm going to be calling you here in just a little bit. And hello, everybody. Yeah, so I flew in late last night. Got here about 11:30 for a 3-day Rod Cleef multifamily event. You know, one of the things that that I always say is that when I stop learning, I stop earning, and I think that's so true. I find myself always reading books, always listening to audiobooks, going to events, surrounding myself around other people, and immersing my brain and my mind with information and content and knowledge. Always be learning, and so I love to come to events like this that we're going to have some powerful information, useful tools, and some amazing networking, such as this event where there's some nationwide commercial brokers as well. Now, I know that this masterclass is about lease options, but like I said on day one, lease options are really the gateway niche to so many avenues in real estate, whether it's multifamily, which, by the way, you know that it's actually pretty easy to do a lease option on a multifamily deal, and that's something that if any of our dream partners bring a multifamily deal to me, then we assess that and see if we can take it down on terms, or even wholesale that multifamily, depending on the transaction. Anyway, so I'm always immersing myself with information and knowledge and surrounding myself with the right people. And I say that because I would highly, highly suggest that you all do the same, that you're listening to specific audio books, that you're reading books like the ones I've showed you this week, 1 Minute Millionaire, Think and Grow Rich, and Who Not How. And listen to those audiobooks. So always be filling your brain with information and knowledge. And when you can, certainly go to events, real estate networking events, meetups, etc. Surround yourself, immerse yourself. A number of years ago, I went to Costa Rica for about 10 days with a family, and I spoke okay Spanish. I would say on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being super fluent. I would say I was about a 4-ish on the scale of fluency in Spanish. But 10 days immersed in Costa Rica, where everybody speaks very clean Spanish, by the way. It was shocking how in 10 days, I probably went from a 4 to about a 6, 6.5 on my fluency in Spanish. Why? Because I immersed myself in Spanish. You want to do the same with business, with entrepreneurism, and also with mindset. So as I posted earlier today, here at Rod Khleif's event, which by the way, there's about 750 people here, massive event. Rod spent an hour and a half of the event, the first hour and a half of the event, talking about mindset and beliefs. And we've got this workbook here, and we talked about like what are our visions, what are our goals, what are our dreams, and what gets us excited. And just to give you an example of some of my goals, you put down what goals you want to accomplish in a lifetime, and then you put a time frame by that. Like is that a 6-month goal, a 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 3? How long is that? What's the time frame on that? Like mine were sail a catamaran in the Virgin Islands, travel to Greece, Fiji, hang glide, dive with sharks, go to space, go down in a submarine, like an explorer submarine. Write my next lease option book, and that's a 60-day goal. So, but writing down your goals, but then it was more than that. It was also then what kind of person do you need to become to achieve those goals, right? And I think to achieve any of the goals that you all may want, just like I do, what as far as the type of person you need to become humble, right? And this goes back to who, not how, right? How am I going to go do this? How am I going to do that? Well, who do I know, right? Who can I call? Who can I contact? And also being willing to admit that you don't know it all and to immerse yourself around those that are going to know, have more information about the content or the topic that you want to learn about. So, for example, if you want to get your pilot's license, as an example, well, take the first step today and get get your ground school lined up, right? But take action, right? Take massive action as quickly as possible. So this workbook that he gave us, the very first several pages were about goals and mindset. So on today, it's day 5 of the Lease Option Masterclass. One of the things I'm going to do on this today is I'm going to go through, again, start to finish of an actual deal. First thing I'm going to do is before I go through the whole thing, is I'm going to talk about how to close an actual lease option transaction. Because the way I do it is actually very simple, and it's probably a little bit different than some investors or educators teach, I should say. But it's actually very simple. But I'm going to go through how to close a deal. Then I'm going to go back and go, okay, now let's go back to step 1 here and go through the steps and step by step by step, okay? And then I'll even show you some actual lease option transactions again as well. Here in just a second, before we go into that, I'm going to call Sam Beltring. I'm going to call Samuel because he's our newest dream partner. And I was going to bring him on here, video and all, but he is in his car. I think he said he was taking his son to a doctor's appointment, I believe is what he said. So I said, you know what? I'll just call you, put you on speaker real quickly. Just talk to him for about a minute or two. So if you have questions for Sam, who's our newest dream partner, certainly fire away. And I think what's going to be interesting about for you all to understand about Samuel is I think he's 79. I think he's 79 years old. So we have yesterday I showed the bank account of one of my dream partners where he was 23 years old, right? We have Sam coming on board who was, I think, 79. I'll confirm that here in a second. So it doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, where you live, where you don't live. If you're tech savvy or you're not tech savvy, I will say this, that the way I teach lease options and the way that we teach our dream partners lease options, you don't have to be tech savvy. You can literally do what we teach using the way we do, using a yellow legal pad and a pen. You don't need a bunch of fancy software and this and that, okay? Yes, there are some advantages to some of the technology we have, and I get that, and I love it. But at the end of the day, don't hesitate to say, you know what, let me take it back to the basics here. Learn the basics of lease options and literally use a yellow legal pad and a pen. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to call Sam, and let me see here. And Mary Lou's, I hope I'm saying your name right. Email support@leasingtobuy.com. If anybody, I know that some people, we were going to shut down the VIP registration yesterday, but then we had people signing on late at night, and I left it open with my travels. But so I know that we had some people sign for VIP that you may or may not have gotten the link to go to, the Zoom link to go to here in a little bit for the VIP. But just email Melanie, support@leasingtobuy.com. Melanie's already on it. All right. Okay. She's on. Okay, so I'm going to try. Hey, Chuck. So I'm going to call. See if I can get a hold of him. And I don't know where's the microphone on a.
Hey, hello, John.
Hey, Sam. Hello. How are you, sir?
I am doing well.
Fantastic. Well, yeah. First of all, congratulations. I know you've been stalking me for a while, haven't you?
A long time, John. For many years, I was dabbling in wholesale and getting my butt whipped, and so finally, I went through some rough spots. He went through a real bad divorce in Fort Worth and lost my house and everything else. So had some medical problems, and my son went over there and picked me up, brought me to California, which I hate now that he's not here to listen to me. But I've been talking to you for a long time, and keeping track, and I've always known that you were the real deal, and just had to take that step of faith. And I'm glad I did it. And by the way, I'm also planning on, one of my sons is still in Fulton City.
Oh, okay.
So I've already told him I'm planning on going back very, very quickly. Because that's my farm area. That's all the area that I know,
Yeah.
I know you live in Keller, and I lived in Fulton City. So, so that's the area that I'm acquainted with. So I want to go back to that.
Well, so so I didn't know that. I guess I didn't know that you don't still live in Keller. Now, for everybody on this call, Keller is a suburb of Fort Worth, Texas. It's north of Fort Worth, and so that's where I lived. After I lived in North Richmond Hills for a long time. I got divorced, lived in Keller for 4 years, and now remarried, and I live in Fort Worth with my beautiful, beautiful wife. Um, and
And don't forget that Fort Worth is a suburb of Haltom City.
So Haltom, when he's referring to Haltom City is literally right. It is on the it touches Fort Worth. You wouldn't even know that you went from one to the other. But so there's Fort Worth and Haltom City, then you go up a little bit in Keller. But so yeah, so Sam, you've been following me for quite a while, and I did not know that you were in California. I thought you were still in Keller, Texas.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had a lot of medical problems and had that divorce. So my son went over there and said, "Dad, you need to be in California." So I'm here, but like I said, I'm quickly getting back to Haltom City.
Okay. Now, so let's talk a little bit, Sam. Now, of course, you and I are going to reconnect on Monday and get your Jumpstart call going. And just so everyone knows, the way the Dream Partner program, the flow of things, the first couple of things is once you apply, like Sam did, which Sam's been talking to us, then you'll schedule an appointment to talk with Maricela or Tim, and they'll talk to you just to verify some information as far as like make sure they got the right number and email address, this, that, and then they'll set a Zoom call with you with this week it's Tamara Aragon, and which, by the way, side note, I know I mentioned this, but just the opportunity to have a free consultation with Tamara Aragon, yeah, that's pretty special. And then once you come out as a Dream Partner, then the next line of item, the next thing is Melanie gets you set up on all of our platforms. She gets you your leasing to buy email address. She gets you set up on leasing to buy, our web scraper, our direct mail platform, all these platforms that she gets you set up on. And then we have our Jumpstart call, which Sam, you and I will schedule ours for Monday. And I say that because next week is a goofy week of the Jackson household. I've got a procedure. I'm going under the knife, not a big deal, on Tuesday. My wife's going under the knife for a big deal on Thursday. So it's a little goofy next week. So Monday, you and I will get things started. And on that Jumpstart call, we go through all the platforms and start putting the plan of action together. We don't mess around. We get things going pretty quickly. So I'm excited, Sam. Now, what part of California are you in right now?
Corning, California, which is a metropolis of about 7,000 people.
Okay.
And it's north of Sacramento and south of Redding, California.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
and they claim that it's a olive capital of the world.
Oh, the olive capital.
Yes.
You make a lot of olive oil, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, in this past couple of years, they've been having tear all the olive trees down because the market has gone down.
Oh,
so and one of the problems that we have is that we found my son is only 58 years old, and he's got that COPD, the breathing problem. And he's allergic to every single thing that grows in this area.
Yeah.
So that's one of my whys of getting into this program, because I have chronic pain, and unfortunately, it's a degenerative cervical disease, and my kids also got it. So that's why I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to make sure that all of us get the proper treatments, and we're going for broke.
Yep. Well, I'm excited to be a part of your journey and to help you and your family get to where they need to be with financially and that stability and everything, and really knock it out of the park. And just earlier, Sam, I was trying to remember your age, and was it you've been on this rotating rock for, was it 79 years?
79 years.
79 years. I'll be darned. Almost as long as I have.
Yeah,
Um,
and I have 7 children from 2 marriages, and they're all adults. One of them is a senior, which she doesn't like me to remind her. And I have 16 grandkids and 10 or 11 great grandkids. So this is going to be my legacy to them.
wow. Well, I am so excited. I can't wait to for you to get back to Texas for us to meet in person. And certainly, I hope that you can join us in February in San Antonio at the.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's going to be a. I tell you what, I'm just so excited about our upcoming retreat in February in San Antonio. You're going to love it. It's going to be a game changer. And I want you to bring your son or anybody in the family that's involved in the business. We're going to bring them. Bring them all for sure.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be sending that deal to Melanie. By the way, you're very, very, very fortunate to have Melanie. Because
you're cutting out. You're cutting out. You're cutting out. Beep.
Uh-oh.
I'm messing with you because Melanie's listening and she's gonna go, see John. I go, oh, way to go, Sam, way to go.
I'm surprised she still even talks to me, because I'd always be texting her, and Melanie, I can't find the program. Melanie, I help me. She's always been there.
She's
always.
Well, you're gonna have to send her some flowers, okay?
Absolutely.
Let me. You hear that, Melanie? Sam's gonna send you some flowers. Oh, you just got a bunch of hearts. People hitting the hearts on Facebook. So, yeah, Melanie's definitely my right hand person taking care of everybody and everything. So. Well, Sam, I am super excited. Let me. I want to get jumping into the content here, but before I let you go, Sam, you've been following me for a while, and there's just to kind of bring a little bit of clarity to everybody else here, because there's a lot of people on this that have been on this masterclass that aren't familiar with what we've done in real estate with leasing to buy and this and that, as far as what we bring to the table with the education. But when you said that you knew that I was the real deal, if you don't mind, if you could explain that to maybe everybody else that's listening that may not be familiar with what leasing to buy does and what we've brought to the industry.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, I dabbled in real estate. I've been in I don't know how many programs, spent a lot of money, and even trying to get one call a week or whatever. I mean, it didn't help. So when you're computer challenged,
yeah,
you need all the help you can get. Yeah. And that's where Melanie has come in for me. Anytime I need some help, I just give her a holler. And then, when during the mastermind calls, I'm sending some leads, you call them and everything else. And you absolutely go out of your way to help people out. And Melanie and everybody else on your staff, on your group. And, the help that you all provide is just amazing. It's great.
Well, and I appreciate that. What's interesting, Sam, is I have no idea why, but this morning, I'm always thinking about our dream partners, about who's doing what, how can I help them, what do they need my help with anything? And I was thinking, I literally woke up this morning, I was thinking about one of our dream partners who had sent me. They had some issues trying to load some pictures to the website or for some, and it's because anyway, the wrong format. But I told the dream partner, I said, well, send them to me and I'll have them reformatted and get them up. I'll reformat them and get them up there. I didn't think anything about it, but for some reason this morning I was thinking about it and I thought, what well-known big name educator would tell one of their students, hey, just send me your pictures and I'll try to reformat them for you and get them up posted, get that property posted for you. And I thought, wow, I almost play the role of admin sometimes, I guess, as well. But that's what, that's okay. It's I'm not above doing that type of stuff to help my students. So and one of the things we'll do is when you get back to Texas, we'll sit down uh, at a Starbucks or whatever, and I'll have the laptop and I'll be guiding you through in person. Hey, here's some things if you need some help. If there's some things you need help with, guiding some things around on some of the platforms or whatever, I'll
There
definitely meet
you
you.
go. Yeah, because I've had two websites for a few years, and I still have problems even trying to figure them out from those other programs.
Yeah.
And and like I said, I just need some help, and I know that I'll get it from you all. That's not a problem. So I understand that.
Well, I'm excited, Sam. And before I let you go, and because I've got to dive into some content here, everybody's first of all, I know we're all excited for you, Sam. Let me kind of tee this up for you, Sam. For anybody watching on this masterclass, anybody that's been participating in this masterclass where they've seen Joe and I just give and give and give and give content, which by the way, last night's coach's corner was amazing. But any words you may have, or any words of advice you may have for anybody on the masterclass this week that's on the fence about applying to work with us?
Yeah, absolutely. At some point, you have to find out what it is that you want, why you want it, and go for it. And, like I said, I suffer from chronic pain, and now I understand that pain is probably never going to go away. So I was talking to Maricela, and I told her, I said, you know what? If I'm going to be hurting and being broke, or if I'm going to be hurting and making money, guess where I'm going? I'm going to be hurting and I'm going to be making some money.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Well, Sam, thank you so much. And thank you so much for taking the time to take my call here. And you and I are going to reconnect on Monday. I'm here in Orlando, as you know, for a couple of days, a couple longer days. But then I'll reach out to Monday. And we'll get on a Zoom call and get you set up and started. Okay.
You got it. Thank you, John.
Take care, Sam.
Okay.
Bye. All right. Let me go back to this screen here. Absolutely. Oh. Well, Sam, thank you so much. And sorry, I'm trying to mute this. Thanks so much. There we go. All right, everybody. Okay, that was Sam Beltrain, our latest dream partner. Let me see here. Tommy said he's emailed you a couple of times, Melanie, regarding the Zoom link. Oh, you're saying day 3 and 4, not on the Google Drive for VIP. Okay. So I do know that there was about a day delay on getting those onto the Google Drive. So Melanie, can you reach out to GECO, ASAP, and ASAP meeting right now, and have GECO get those as top priority into the Google Drive today. Thank you. All righty. So I'm going to go through how to close a lease option. Now, today I don't have any slides because there's not I don't have any slides for today, but I'm going to show you how to close a lease option. Now, a lot of educators will say that in order to close a lease option, you have to use. Oh, okay. Thank you, Molly. A lot of educators will say that you have to close a lease option with an attorney. That's not true. I've done this for 18 years. I've never closed a lease option with an attorney. However, if someone wants to close with an attorney, you can. There's nothing wrong with closing with an attorney. The reason that you may close with an attorney is this. There's only one reason you would close with an attorney. Is it gives everybody a warm, fuzzy feeling. Like, oh, this is legit. This is legal. Okay? And that's fine if you want to do that. Now, if you want to close it with an attorney, you would typically have the buyer pay for the attorney fees, which is $400 probably. And the attorney is going to go through the paperwork and say, all right, here's this. Here's what that says. Okay, here's this. Right? He's going to be pushing papers across the desk. They sign, and they pay $400. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that. I've never used an attorney. Here's how I close a lease option deal. So I have the paperwork. And remember, I said this is full transparency. Everybody gets a copy of everything in the lease option deal. The seller gets the full documentation. I get the full documentation, and the buyer gets the full set of contracts. Okay, so when it's time to close the deal, close the lease option deal, I simply meet the buyer, typically at the house, and I have a set of two sets of contracts, sometimes three, doesn't matter, but one for the seller, one for the buyer, one for you. Okay, so it could be three sets. And I go through the documents with the buyer. I go, okay, now the first section is the landlord's acknowledgments, and here's what this says. The next section is the lease agreement. Here's what this says. Here's this. Here's this. Here's the start date. Here's the end date. Here's your monthly payment. Here's the option of purchase. And I'm just flipping through the contracts, pointing out the highlights. I'm not reading every single line. On the option of purchase, which is one of the more important parts, I'm pointing out this is your option of purchase. Here's your option fee right here. I'm sorry, here's your option price. Here's the option fee, how much you're putting down on the property. Here's your concession. Here's this. Here's the assignment. Now, on this assignment, I need you to sign here. And I have them sign the assignment. And I go, and this is your assignment of agreement. Here it is, and then sign here. Then they do that 3 times. One for the seller, one for them, and one for you. So everybody gets a copy of everything. All right, so it's really easy to close. And then the buyer gives me a cashier's check for the option fee, right? Like you saw where Jose Campos got the option fee for $35,000 the other day. As you see these option fees coming in, that's what's going to the dream partner, okay? And the seller, there's a separate cashier's check made to the seller for their first month's payment. So I'm going to go back through the steps to a lease purchase, a lease option here. So step 1, of course, is marketing. That's what you want to start marketing. How are you going to market? Well, Wednesday, I gave you 23 ways to market to sellers, right? Pick 1 or 2. I suggest starting off calling for sell by owner and for rent by owner people that are online on Zillow and Trulia, etc. All right, call those for sell by owner people. Call for rent by owners. See if they'd be willing to lease option their property. And when you're talking to the sellers, something you do not want to do is try to lie to them and say, "Hey, I'm looking to lease purchase a house. Hey, do you think you might lease purchase that house to me?" Excuse me. I was looking for some water here. Water. And then, so you don't want to say, "Hey, I'm looking for a house. My wife and I are looking for a home to lease purchase," right? Because they're not. So don't try to lie to the owners like that. You can simply say, which, by the way, in the VIP room, my seller scripts are in there. I'm going to double check on that this afternoon. If they're not in there already, there will be by this afternoon in the VIP room. But I don't use scripts when I talk to sellers. I simply would say, "Hey, my name is John. I was calling about your property. Don't know if it's still available, but if it is, just want to see, talked about maybe doing maybe a short-term lease purchase." And then you have that conversation with them. When you're having that conversation with them, you're hitting the bullet points of the benefits of the lease purchase to the seller. You're going to get full price, no commission, cash flow each month, and our buyers get a home warranty. So all the repairs are taken care of, and it's short term. So it's a 12-month lease purchase. So step 1, do your marketing. Market to sellers, all right? Step 2 is once you're having that conversation with them, You're going to get their email address. Now, why do you get their email address? Because you're going to send them email number 1. How does the lease purchase help? Email number 2 is the seller price sheet. So you send those to the seller. Then you call the seller the next day. Hey, Sam, the seller, this is John, leasing to buy, just following up with you. I'd sent you a couple of emails with some preliminary numbers. Didn't know if you had a chance to take a look at those yet. I just wanted to follow up with you, see if you had a chance to look at those. And they'll say, yeah, we did, or not yet, haven't seen them yet, or yeah, we did, everything looks, it makes sense. How long does it typically take you to find somebody? So what are they asking there when they say, how long does it typically take you to find somebody? They're asking, how fast can you bring the fajitas, right? How fast can you stop this bleeding? And so what is the answer to that? Well, on average, it's about 45 days. We don't always know for sure, but on average, about 45 days to locate that buyer. And so then the next step is you fill out the contracts, send the seller the contracts. The contracts are so easy to fill out. Our contracts are, because they auto-populate where the seller's name goes. You put that, it puts it in all the places in the contract, the numbers, all that stuff. You send that to the seller with the third email. Then you call them the next day. Hey, Mr. Seller, send you the agreements. Just want to make sure you got those. See if you have any questions. Now you can also send them via. How fast can you bring the fajitas? That's right. Now you can also send the documents via DocuSign. More and more now, I send them via DocuSign. To be honest with you, DocuSign is so easy to use. Anyway, they get them signed, and boom, you're off to the races. Now, the next step, so you've done the marketing to the seller. You sent email number 1 and 2. You called them. They got the numbers. Looks good. Send the contracts. Here we go. You get the contracts back. Oh, crap. Now what? You've got signed contracts back. You're now a principal in the agreement. You can market your contract. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to market to the buyers. We talked about 8 ways to market to buyers yesterday. And on last night's Coach's Corner, if you didn't see it, you got to watch that. John Lewingus, one of our dream partners, and Joe Sesky, they were doing a lot of screen sharing there, showing Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is a great place to market your properties at. Zillow, for salebyowner.com. We use signs in the yard. Our dream partners, we actually get them hooked up with our sign maker. I'm telling you, guys, there's nobody else out there, bar none, no matter what anybody says, nobody has what we have put together with the Dream Partner program. I mean, literally, our Dream Partners is like a business in a box. It's as close as you can get to a licensing agreement or franchise agreement of leasing to buy. So, for example, our Dream Partners, they started in the marketing. The first thing they do is they go ahead and order their signs. Their signs that go in the yard, and their directional signs. So you put your sign in the yard. In our case, it says leasing to buy, has the phone number, and the directional signs. And now you start taking calls from buyers. Now, here's a question I get a lot. And I'm going to stop right there. Here's a question I get a lot. Two questions I get. Well, John, do you use your cell number? What number do you use on your sign? What phone number do you use on your online ads? I use my cell phone. Why in the world would I use my cell phone for people to call me? Because I find that it's easier for people to call me when they call my phone. I know, kind of cray-cray. But here's the thing. There's only 3 reasons. There's only 3 reasons, really, not to use your cell phone number. One is if your cell phone is actually paid for by a company you work for, right? And it's not actually your phone. That's probably a good reason not to use that number. 2, if you're putting out bandit signs all over God's green earth that say we buy houses, you don't want your cell number on there because it's pretty easy to find you, okay? In that case, you'd want to use like a Google number or call rail or something. And number three, the third reason you wouldn't want to use your cell number is if you wanted or needed some sort of a tracking on the calls, like call rail. Call rail is a great tool, phenomenal tool to use to track calls coming in. I remember Wednesday I was talking about setting up Uber drivers as bird dogs for you. You can set them up with call rail numbers. Nevertheless, back to the task at hand. So I use my phone number, my cell number, and I've used it as long as I've been doing leasing to buy for 18 years. So my yard signs, the signs that go in the yard, because guess what? I actually still do deals, okay? Oh my God, I just got a lead this morning. I literally sat down to breakfast and got a lead on a house from an investor. Remember, I said investors are amazing friends. Make friends with investors. I got a lead this morning on a house in Arlington, Texas, $650,000, I think, maybe a little bit more than that. Anyway, so we're looking at, I just got the lead on that this morning. I'll get out there Monday to go look at it. But the point is that the sign that goes in the yard is going to have my cell number on it. All right. The other question I get is, okay, John, well, how do you show the house? Now, again, if this is a house that I'm personally working, or that one of my dream partners is working, and it's close by to them, in other words, it's not a virtual deal. Let's talk about that in a little bit. If it's a deal that you're going to, it's a 20-minute drive, and you're going to go, work it, in person. The way you show the house is super simple. If let's assume the house is occupied by the owner, then all you do is, as you're getting calls from buyers, and you have someone that's very interested in seeing the property, let the owner know, hey, I've got what sounds like a phenomenal buyer. They get the money down. They're looking to move here, relocating here in a few weeks. They'd like to see the property Thursday at 6. Does Thursday work for you? And you schedule that showing around the owner's schedule, all right, when they're going to be there. Yeah, that's right. I said when they're going to be there. I tell the owners, listen, when I go to show the property, a couple of things here, Mr. Owner. First of all, it's only going to take 3-4 showings, and that's it. I'm not like a real estate agent. This is not where you're going to have random people traipsing through your house all hours. Nope, there's like 3-4 showings, done. Sellers freaking love that. They're like, oh my God, right? I said, oh, the other thing, Mr. Seller, when I have someone that wants to see the house, I've talked to them on the phone, pre-screened them. I would like you to be here. So unlike a real estate agent, I'm not going to call you and go, hey, Mr. Seller, yeah, I've got someone who wants to see your house in 10 minutes. I need you to get out, right? Because that's what real estate agents do, right? Oh, hey, I'm Sally with Remax. I'm right around the corner. I got such a nice couple. They want to see your house. Can you get out and go away for an hour? We were just having dinner. Yeah, but they're really interested. We don't do that. Now, why would I want the owner to be there? I tell the owner, well, Mr. Owner, I approach this as if this were my house. And if this were my house, I'd want to, one, be able to meet the potential buyers, right? And two, nobody knows this house better than I do. Because I've lived here for 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 years, right? So, again, I schedule the showing around the owner's schedule, right? Hey, I've got someone, they like to see it Thursday at 6, Friday at 2, whatever. Does that work for you? If not, we'll coordinate it. It's so super easy. And the owners want to help, right? The owners want you to lease option their house. They want to help you, all right? They want to be involved, right? So let's assume the house is vacant. If the house is vacant, it's even easier, right? Certainly you can call the owner. Hey, listen, just letting you know, going to be at your house tomorrow at 2, showing the property. Just letting you know, I'll be inside. You can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and go get a lockbox, a combo box for $38, $40. That's not that much. Yeah, I think it's $35 for a combo box. Put the box on the door. There you go. You're the only one that shows the house, right? That's how you show a house. Now, when you show the property, you're not going through going, now this is the bedroom and this is the bathroom. Right? We're talking about adults here. They can tell that's a freaking toilet. All right. But when I'm showing a property, I'm having a conversation with these buyers. I'm having a deeper conversation and asking them specific questions. Like, so you all live pretty close here now? Where do you live now? Oh, okay, yeah, I know that area. So are you moving for the school district, or just trying to get on this side of the tracks, or what's going on? And you're just having a conversation. You're finding out more about them. Where do they live? Oh, really? Where do you work? Oh, I'll be darned. Okay. Now, how soon are you looking to move? Okay, I see. Now, and then you can talk about the program. Now, this house is $350,000. It's $15,000 down. That's the option fee, and then $2,800 a month. Right? How much are y'all renting right now? Oh, you are renting. Oh, how much are you paying now? Oh, $2,800. Oh, that's how much this house is. Wow, you could own this house for what you're paying in rent. So you see what I'm saying? You're just having these conversations. Now, how do we pre-screen the buyer on the phone? Well, you ask them the same questions. When someone calls on a property, so I've got the sign in the yard. Someone goes, hey, I was just calling about this house on Main Street. Is that still available? Yep, it sure is. That is a lease purchase, or you could even say rent to own. By the way, side note, never use the term rent to own with a seller. Why? Because it sounds degrading and low class. Rent to own sounds like what you do with a refrigerator at Rent-A-Center, right? So never call a seller and go, hey, I was wondering if you want to do a rent to own, right? I like the term lease purchase. It sounds more elegant, and it sounds like there's closure there. So a buyer calls. Hey, I was calling about this. I just saw this. Your sign in the yard on this house on 123 Main Street. Is it still available? Yep, it sure is. That is it's a lease option, also known as a rent to own. That house is $350,000. It's $15,000 down and $2,800 a month. Is that something you're looking for, or are you just looking for something to rent? And then you shut up. I didn't go into how the rent to own works, what a lease option is, blah, 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 blah. Why? Because I'm just trying to find out, first of all, if they, do they know it's $15,000 down and $3,800 a month? Is that something you're looking for? Or are you looking just to rent? And then shut up. And they may say, yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. When can I see it? Well, I tell you what, I've got to get my calendar out. Let me ask you, how soon are you looking to move? Oh, we're looking probably the next 3 weeks. Oh, wow. Okay. Are you renting right now? Is your lease up? Yeah, our lease is up. We've been looking, and but this house, we just now saw the sign. This looks beautiful. Well, fantastic. Now, again, this is a rent to own, where we actually help you buy the property within 12 months. And the reason I bring this up, potential buyer, is because I've gotten a lot of calls in this house, but a number of people are looking just for a short-term rental, and this is a 12-month lease purchase where we help you buy the house, but it does require the down payment of $15,000. I just want to make sure it's okay before we move any further. Yep, that's fantastic. All right, and then you can coordinate showing the property, but you're asking them these questions to kind of filter them out, right? All right, so you show the property. Now what? They love it. Oh my God, this is the most amazing thing. What's next? Well, for the dream partners, they simply go, well, go to leasingtobuy.com, click the button that says submit your application. This morning we had 2 applications come in. I'm waiting on a third. So our dream partners are always we're all across the nation. We have 40. We have 40. Well, now Sam, we have 41. 41 dream partners. They're always getting applications all the time for their houses. And so we process those applications for them. And so the buyers will go to the leasingtobuy.com, click the button, fill out the application, comes to us, we process it very quickly, within 24 hours, sometimes within an hour, but very quickly. And I look at debt to income, I look at the reports, etc. I pulled the application I pulled this morning. His name was Jojo, and he was a no-no. I emailed my dream partner. I said, Jojo is a no-no. Because we're very picky about who we work with. Because our success rate is about as close to 100% as you can get. And to circle back on that, Wednesday, if you were on that call on the Coach's Corner Wednesday, Jose Campos, who's been a dream partner of mine now for coming up on a year, he said, and I didn't know this. I didn't even know this until the call Wednesday, that all of his buyers so far have bought. Like they've already closed. Because we close them fast. So I mean, closing meaning they got the financing. That's phenomenal. Sellers are happy. Buyers are happy. Everybody's happy, right? So we process the application. If they're good to go, then I'll tell the buyer, all right, hey, everything looks fantastic. Now, we do need some earnest money to hold this property. That earnest money is typically $3,000. That goes towards the purchase of the property. Towards the option fee of the property. So if the option fee is, say, $10,000, okay, if I get $3,000 earnest money, then at the time of move-in, they'll still owe me $7,000, obviously, right? But that $3,000 helps lock and control. It helps lock up that property, so we know we're all a go. Then I let let the seller know, hey, Mr. Seller, we've got a phenomenal buyer. Everything's fantastic. Blah blah blah. Now, sometimes sometimes the seller may ask to see, well, can I see their application? Absolutely. I show their application, their tri-merge report, everything. Absolutely. And then the seller has the final say. It's almost unheard of for the seller to turn somebody down that I've approved. And it's actually not very common at all. If you can believe this, it's actually not very common for the seller to ask to see their credit report. Okay. Anyway, so now we coordinate the move-in date. So the buyer says, well, I'm looking to move first week of January. Fantastic. I call the seller. Everything's great. They're looking to move first week of January. Does that work for you all? Or do we make some adjustment there? No, that's phenomenal. Okay, great. And now you just kind of coordinate the move-in date, right? January 1? Yep. January 1? Yep. Looks great. Okay. Then on January 1, if I'm doing this in person, I go to the house. And I've already been paid $3,000. And if this was a $10,000 option fee, the buyer brings a $7,000 cashier's check and another cashier's check. That other cashier's check is to the owner for their first month's payment. We sign all the documents, 3 copies, boom, boom, boom. I get my copy. I make sure the owner gets their copy. I get my cashier's check. And now, I will say this. Now more and more people are doing wires. So, and that's it. I hand the keys, and they're good to go. That is a deal start to finish. And then I pull my signs out of the yard, and I'm off to the bank to deposit a cashier's check. And that's it, start to finish. So I'm going to go back here. Hey, what's up, Cecil? Okay, yeah, so Tommy, Melanie's already jumped on that. So I forgot, I knew yesterday there was going to be about a day delay on that, on those recordings. Tommy, can you walk through the process of filling out the seller price? Oh yeah, can you walk through the process of filling out the seller price sheet? Math looks easy, okay, but want to see you go through it. Okay, I'll do that. David Corbally, what's up, brother? I love that. David Corbally, he is David Corbally is about 40 years older than me. He's been in real estate for about 30 years longer. Phenomenal educator. Said a phone call could be worth $20,000 or $50,000. Gee, gosh, let's outsource that to a non-English speaking person to handle. That's called, he's being facetious. Yeah, you don't want people overseas taking your calls. That's for sure. I will show you. I'm going to go back to the numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna show my screen here. How do I do that? I'm gonna show a couple of things. I'm gonna show the lease option calculator. So I'm going to show you this the lease option calculator. Now this is in the Dream Partner. This is in the Dream Partner Google Drive. And then I'm going to show the price sheet. All right. So let me share screen. Oops, not that. Share screen. All right, so I'm going to look at my monitor, my phone, which is my monitor here. Make sure y'all can see my screen. So I used to do the numbers for years and years and years. I've done the lease option numbers in my head. I just did them. But my students would say, well, how did you get to that number? How did you get that calculation? And I was like, I don't know, I just do it, right? And I finally created finally had to create formulas to, oh, you know what? That did not share. One more button, there we go. So I finally had to create formulas to, I had to back in the formulas. So this calculator, I had this calculator developed to based on the numbers I was using for a lease option. Now, you're going to be asking yourself, well, why does it do that? Why does it do that? And I don't want you to dive too heavy, in, especially in this masterclass, dive too heavy into the, well, why did he adjust this a little bit there? Why did he do that? Don't worry about it. Just know that this is the calculator, and here you go. All right, it's in the Dream Partner Drive. Just use it. You know, when you flip on the light switch, you don't go, well, why doesn't the electricity run to the ground when I flip it down? I don't know. Just look, the switch works, use it. So here's the lease option calculator. All you do to use this calculator, you have to enter one number. You enter the asking price. So if they're asking, say 200, what is the asking price? If it's listed, put the list price in there. If it's for sale by owner, well, how much are you asking for it? $250,000. Boom. You simply enter that what their asking price is into there, and it'll spit out all your numbers. Now these numbers are suggested numbers. Okay, you can tweak them a little bit, but you can see if someone comes to me with a $250,000 home, we're going to put the option price, what our buyer is going to pay, is about $256,000. Our fee that we'll get would be about $10,250. Portion of fee paid to the seller. This is just a suggestion. You don't have to pay him anything, all right? But the calculator is spitting out suggestions there on that. The concession, monthly payment. Now, I never put a monthly payment of $2,178.13. I'd make that, $1,995 or $2,000. Make it an easy number. But that's the calculator. So you put your numbers in here. Then the next thing you do, I've got to show a different screen here, is you go to your seller price sheet. And make sure this is showing over here. Okay, there it is. So here's your seller price sheet right here. It didn't show. Sorry. On this platform, there's always like one more button I got to push. Okay. So here's your seller price sheet. This price sheet, which is in the VIP Google Drive, will auto subtract everything. But let's just I put the address at the top, 123 Main Street. Option price. Let's say it's 256,900. Option fee. Let's just call it. We'll go with the easy numbers here. 10,000. Let's assume I was going to give the owner 1,000 of that. And you can see I'm just hitting tab and it's auto subtracting everything for me. Seller concession, 3,600. I typically do 3,600 concessions. And I know someone's about to ask the question, John, what the hell is a concession? And the first payment on this one is, let's call it $2,000 a month. That's it. There's the seller price sheet. I save it. I send this to the seller with the pre-drafted email. And it'll show them they're getting, the bottom line is they're getting 244,300 plus 2,000 a month. It's the seller price sheet. So you can take the calculator, put the asking price in there, transpose everything over to the seller price sheet. All right, I'm gonna go back to this screen here. I'm gonna go back to the questions here. Hey, Curtis. Oh, yeah. Hey, Curtis, you're in Cincinnati, right? Or somewhere around Cincinnati. Melanie had asked me about that. I believe, Curtis, you're in Cincinnati, if I remember right, and you got the home study materials right. So it would have been October 2019, which is about 2 months-ish before I came out with the 2.0 lease options 2.0 materials. So Melanie was going to get you hooked up with that because since you already had the old course, we've got a special. She'll have to manually run it, but we're going to get you taken care of. We've got a discount for you on that for the 2.0 if you want that, Curtis. But Curtis, this is a reminder. Email Melanie, support@leasingtobuy.com. But she was asking me about you yesterday. That's why I know. Kelly, how many deals on average do you do a month? So myself, Kelly, I don't do as many as I used to because of the fact I've got students across the nation. Well, 41 now. Students across the nation. And because I travel a lot and speak a lot, I just enjoy that. But before I was really doing a lot of traveling and speaking, which I enjoy, I would do about, there's at any given time, let me say this, Kelly, at any given time, I myself was marketing between 25 to 30 properties at any given time. And so what I would do, and this is before I really understood systems, and I would carry around this briefcase, this like leather bag, right? And it was full of files, all these paper files. And keys, all these houses. And I'd drive around showing properties. It was a madhouse, showing all these properties, taking calls. I used to have a lot of hair, Kelly. I used to have a beautiful, beautiful ponytail. And then I was showing 30 properties at once, and my hair fell out. True story. But so because I was showing so many properties, I wouldn't do any marketing for sellers for like 3 or 4 months because I was like, I can't handle this. And that was me just doing part of Tarrant County, part of Fort Worth. Uh, and so I started bringing on reps, what I called reps, who would show the properties for me. So it was at that point I started doing this virtually, right? I never met the seller, never saw the house, never met the buyers. My reps did all that. But so yeah, I would have 25, 30 properties I was showing at any given time. Okay, so Jim is asking, for example, if a house is selling for $400,000, where does the option fee and other fees come out of? Okay, so let's walk through a $400,000 house as an example. Now, one of the things people can get lost on or confused on is numbers on a lease option. Oh, let me go back here. Let me switch here. Let me go to the calculator. Share, go here. So let me show you this. So there's really 4 numbers on a lease option. So on a lease option, there's the option price. That's what you're marketing that property at. That's what the buyer is paying for that property. The option price is, in this case, is right here, right? There's the option fee. The option fee is what you are getting paid. That's typically going towards the down payment on the property, okay? Portion of fee paid to seller, I don't include that as one of the 4 numbers, but however much you're going to pay the seller, $1,000, $500, nothing, that's up to you. The concession and the monthly payment. Let's put in the numbers here. I think Jim had said 400,000. Okay. So you can see in this example, if it's a $400,000 house and our option price is 408, we have the option fee at 20,000. The calculator is suggesting we have 4. I'd probably give 2 or 3, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. The concession, 5,400. What is that? So with a rent to own, with a lease option, there is commonly what's called a rent credit. That is where a portion of the payment goes towards the purchase of the property at the time of finance. So let's assume someone's paying $1,300 a month and the seller's giving them a rent credit of $300 a month. Okay, so after 12 months, they have 300 times 12 is $3,600, right? That's a rent credit. Here's why we don't use rent credits with leasing to buy. And this is something that, again, educators and investors and gurus won't tell you. Back in 2008, when the market crashed, in 2009 and 2010, lending guidelines were changing like daily, right? They were changing all the time. And so there were different guidelines coming out daily and this and that. Well, one of the things that happened is that in all that mess is that when a lender would see a contract with a rent credit, most lenders, not all, most lenders would raise a flag and go, wait a minute, rent credit, how much are they paying on rent? And we need what's called a rent rate appraisal. That rent rate, so what does that mean? How much is the rent appraisal? How much is the rent for that area? So if this buyer was paying $1,300 a month in rent, but the owner was crediting them with $300 a month, if a rent rate appraisal is done, right, and they see that the rent rate for that area is $1,300, then they're going to say, we're disqualifying the rent credit. You should have been paying $1,600. You should have been paying $300 more than average rent for that area, and you weren't, so we disqualified it. So it screwed over the buyer, and the seller totally did it, unknowingly. So we got away from rent credit. We just call it what it is, a flat fee. It's a seller concession. Most of our houses is $3,600. There's no magical rule about $3,600. There's nothing about. I've had people go, "Was that because of Dodd-Frank?" No, it has nothing to do with Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank doesn't even apply to lease option. The reason I typically do 3,600 is, for years we gave $300 a month rent credit. 300 times 12, because we do 12-month contracts. 300 times 12 is 3,600. Now, in higher price houses, as you can see here, we'll give it a little bit more. What that does is it goes towards helping the buyer's closing costs. It just simply goes towards helping the buyer's closing cost. And it comes off the seller side of the HUD. The monthly payment on a lease option assignment goes directly to the seller every month. All right. Hopefully, was that Jim's? Yep. Okay, Jim. All right. Hey, Steve. Yeah, I saw you calling, Steve. Sorry, did you send me a text? Oh, is my internet connection lousy? What's up, Steve? Steve, I like my picture better. Yeah, I'm in a hotel, Steve, so I know my connection is a little iffy here. Good to see you, Steve. Marcus McCrae, are you involved in helping the buyers get qualified for a loan? And if so, how are you involved? Great question, Marcus. So yes, for our dream partners, we have everything in place. We have the lenders, we have the credit improvement, everything in place. Even the home warranty company, we've got everything in place for the buyers. How involved are we? Well, we'll put them in touch with the lender, who also does credit improvement, and then the lender takes it from there. Like Jose said on Wednesday night, all of his deals have closed. They've all gotten financing. Now, I'm not so involved that I'm calling the buyer every month, "Hey, how you doing?" Or I'm calling the lender, "Hey, how are they doing?" Right? But certainly you could check with the lender every few months, see how they're progressing, etc. But here's the thing, Marcus. Yeah, here's the thing. Nowadays, Marcus, believe it or not, I would say maybe 70% of our buyers are actually ready to go, very close to finance. If not ready, very close to finance when they come to us. And so there's really not much hand-holding needed. I am seeing, here's something interesting, Marcus. I'm seeing less and less applicants needing credit improvement that we approve. I'm seeing people that maybe need to establish some credit, but I'm not seeing, I'm telling you, Mark, times have changed since I started this in 2003. In 2003, and for many, many years, people would apply and just were deadbeats that we turned down. Now, the majority of people that even that we approve, they're rock solid. They just don't need much. They really don't need any hand holding at all. It's just waiting on a little bit of time. Let me see here. Oh, hey, what's up, Rachel? This calculator does have all the numbers on the email number too. Yeah. Yeah. So Rachel, I was talking about you yesterday, or day before, whenever it was, in the VIP, and you weren't able to make it, I guess. Okay, Rachel, good. Glad you saw that. Okay. Talking about the concession, and I just talked about the the concession. The seller concession simply comes off the seller side of the HUD. It helps cover the buyer's closing costs. All right. Hey, Melanie. I know you had asked me yesterday about when I spoke at OREA. Can you make sure? I know you said you could. I think you said you couldn't find Curtis in the system. Can you make sure to get Curtis the discounted price on on Lease Options 2.0? Just send him that discounted invoice, and I'll text you later or remind me about that. Julie, what happens a year later? Are you on the hook to renew them for another year? Another option? No, so Julie, well, within a year they get financed. They buy the property. Now, if they don't get financed, guess what? You're going to be the first one that the owner calls and says, "Hey, they couldn't get financed. Can you do it again?" Or, "Hey, they're moving out. Can you do it again?" But we're not on the hook for anything. Greg, I've been advised to be cautious in South Carolina because if the buyer has to be evicted, if there's anything that can be construed as equitable interest, the magistrate will not evict and will instead say a foreclosure must be done. How do you avoid this? Yeah, so there's a lot of talk about equitable interest, and without a rent credit, there is no equitable interest. Without a note, without a deed of trust, there is no. Since we're not creating a note, there's no equitable interest. But in 18 years, Greg, I've never, ever had one tiny issue of equitable interest or evicting. Now, also, Greg, another thing is that the last time I had to evict anybody, it was, my Lord, it had to be like 2010, 2009, a long time ago. Because especially now, because of the quality of people that we work with, it just almost does not happen. All right, hey, what's up, Steve? Yeah, on your program, the seller approves the buyer, and you just assign your agreement to the new tenant buyer, correct? Yeah, Steve. So the first thing is we've got the contract with the seller. It has our name, our company name on it, between leasing to buy and the seller. Has all the terms and everything, and these terms are what we're marketing to the buyer. Then when our buyers come along, we simply assign this contract to the buyer. And so then this buyer has a copy, we have a copy, the seller has a copy. So we're not assigned. I know someone in particular used to teach that, oh, you assign this back to the seller and this and all this crazy stuff, and that's not how you do it. All right, great stuff, guys. I am running a little bit late for VIP, but I was okay with that because I assume most anybody going to go to VIP is already in this room. So I'm going to click off this, stop sharing here. I'm going to, looks like we got all the questions. Again, if anybody on this masterclass, if you have not yet, Chuck, any comments on how this affects licensees? Yeah, Chuck. What's up, Chuck? Chuck, did you see what happened to our friend Kelly? Got the jab, and now she's sick as a dog. Just say no. Say no to the jab. By the way, my side hustle is I sell masks that say "Let's go, Brandon." So I hook you up, Chuck. Yeah, so if you're a licensee, if you're a licensed agent, the only thing really you cannot do, you got jabbed? No, Chuck, no. All right. Yeah, that's right. For licensees, the only thing you cannot do is you cannot market to listed houses. Okay, and of course, as an agent, in any transaction you do, even if you're not so like Chuck, if you're a broker, but even if you're not representing someone, if you're in a transaction to buy a house or sell a house, even if you're not representing any better than your own entity, then you'll normally have a disclosure stating that I am a licensed agent in the state of Texas, license number, blah, blah, blah. However, I am not representing any other party in this transaction other than my own entity, whatever that entity is. Just to be super CYA. You grew a third ear. Oh. Let's see what I got here. I got, let's go, Brandon. I'm not getting jabbed. No to the jab. So Steve says, so the seller really has no say. Are you talking about the documents? You say on the docs. Steve, are you saying he doesn't have any say on the documents as far as what documents we use? I just want to make sure I understand the question. Okay. Julie says, you can do this with the realtor involved. Absolutely. Most of the houses that we, yeah, so we only, okay. So if I understand your question, Steve, uh, we only use our contracts. I don't use any other documents. On a rare, this, a couple weeks ago, I think one of our dream partners said, hey, I was talking to the seller, and he said, he would only use his contracts. Now, keep in mind, the seller hadn't even seen our contracts yet. And I said, well, tell the seller we can't. Wish him the best. Where did he get his contracts from? Bigger pockets. So we only use our documents because our documents have all the CYA for all parties, right? But especially for you. So I wouldn't use any other documents other than ours. And yes, most of our I work with a lot of properties that are listed at the same time. There we go. So a lot of the properties we do are listed at the same time. Now I never, so I don't pay the realtors any fees unless they bring me a buyer or unless they bring me the property, because I never talk to the agent. I tell the so if I'm working with a listed house, a seller calls me, hey, my name's Tom. I got your brochure in the mail. Just wanted to see what you did. Oh, hey, Tom, my name's glad you called. Yep, I'm with Leasing to Buy, and we specialize in short-term lease purchasing. And I'm going through this. And then the seller says, well, I've got an agent involved. Now, how does that work? Well, Tom, you definitely want to keep your listing if at all possible. So I'm sorry. So you definitely want to keep your listing if at all possible. Now, you will want to let your agent know that you're looking to offer your property as a lease option. And then again, Mr. Seller, if we lease option, if your agent gets a contract first, you don't owe us a dime. Don't pay us anything. If we lease, and then the owner will say, well, what if you lease option at first? How does my agent get paid, right? How does my agent get paid? Well, Mr. Seller, that's between you and your agent. Whatever agreement you all have is between yourselves. But again, keep in mind, you don't pay us a thing if you get a contract. So that is 99% of the conversations right there. So I never talk to the agent. I've told the owner at least once, make sure, let your agent know that you're going to be offering as a lease option, but to keep the listing. And so I don't pay the agent anything. I will pay the agent if the agent brings me a buyer. I will pay the agent if the agent brings me a property. If an agent calls me and says, hey, I've got this listing that I can't get rid of, I need your help. Let's do it. I'll pay a full month's payment. So Julie, as far as them needing to pay the agent, I'd never know. And the reason is because I don't ask each seller. I don't ask each seller, okay, now get out your contract, get out your listing agreement. Let's see what it says. Right. I just say, you and your agent talk to your agent, let them know you're looking to offer as a lease option at the same time. So I don't know what they pay, if they pay, because that's between them. All right, Mary, I tell you what, when you come on as a dream partner, I've got a number of masks you can choose from, and I'll get you an official Leasing to Buy politically charged mask. Oh, the docs you have for me are 4 or 5 years old. Your documents, Steve, are gonna be they're still gonna be fine. I have them tweaked and reviewed every couple of years. The last review was about 5 months ago, and it was really for the Texas documents, and there was only the adjustments the attorney made were very minimal. So you're in good shape, Steve. How long can dream partners stay connected to you? Until I get tired of them, Kelly. and then I get a burn phone. No, it's not a yearly. It's not it. So what happens is this. So with the Dream Partner program, um, uh, let me go back a little bit. So over the years of coaching and training and this and that, uh, we had different coaching programs, if you will. We had the 12-month, your basic 12-month, the 6-month, the 3-month. And here's the thing, is that when we brought the Dream Partner program to life, I got rid of all that crap. I said, for example, a 3-month program, a 90-day coaching program, that doesn't work. 6 months possibly do, 12-month, yeah. But I got away from that whole 3, 6, 12-month, all that. It's for however long someone wants to stay in the program, right? But our goal is to have 50 people across the nation, and so what will happen is we'll have 40, 42, 43 people across the United States, and then eventually a couple, some of them have done 4, 5, 6, 7 deals, and they're off to going, hey, man, this has been phenomenal. It's been great. I've learned so much. I'm going to scale up now. I'm going to go into land developing. And one of the guys out of the Dream Partner program is doing land development now, but it started from lease options, and that's fine. So someone may stick with us. Someone may stay with us for 6 months, 8 months. It's however long they want to stay with us. Jose's been with me for a year, so it's not a 6-month or a 12-month program. But anyway, Kelly, if they're super nice, I'll keep their number in my phone. You're from Chicago, or you're in Chicago, so you would not stick around long. Chicago's too cold. I'm kidding. Jonathan's going to be with me forever. All right. All right, Mary. Let's see. Mary, you come on board. I'm going to get you one of my masks. I've got a lot of them, Mary. All right. At some point, I'd have to head over to the VIP room. All right. I've got to head over to the VIP room at some point. All right. One last mask, then I got to go to VIP. There you go. This mask does nothing. All right. I got to get to the VIP room. Okay, Steve, what is the cost of the Dream Partner program? So the investment in the Dream Partner program, and let me circle back on this, is because we talked about it yesterday, but the investment in the Dream Partner program is $9,800, and then $495 a month. And then sometimes people will say, well, $9,800, that's a little bit steep for what I've got right now. But you still want to have that, still schedule that call and complete that application, because what I don't talk about is the fact that we actually, can help you on the financing on that and finance that for you, whether it be in-house or third party, because we don't want that investment to stop anybody from success, right? And there again, going back to my guarantee, my offer, is that in 90 days, if you've sent out 90 price sheets in 90 days and you don't have a contract, I'm just going to refund you everything you've invested, and I'm still going to work with you. You're stuck with me, right? Leave no man behind. And I'll refund everything, but I'll still work with you until we get a deal, because I'm that committed, and I believe that much in it. But it's $9,800. We do offer in-house financing to make it super easy for you, so it's not some burden, because we don't want it to be a burden. We want to help you, and we want you to get that investment back as quickly as humanly possible, all right? Which in most cases is typically on your first deal, right? That's what we want, is let's get that deal, boom, investment back. Which, where else are you going to get that? You're not going to get that from college, right? My 2 daughters go to college right now, and one of them's in New York, and I think her tuition is $45,000 a semester. I believe that's what it is. Yeah. She's not going to see that back for a while. But it's again, it's the offers that if you get 90 price sheets in 90 days that Joe or I have approved, and you don't have a contract yet, I'm just going to refund you everything, and I'm still going to work with you because I'm that committed. And I know that that I'm that committed to help you get to where you need to be. So I don't want finances to be any hindrance at all. And that's why I say, even if you're not sure on the finances of it, schedule the call and let Tamara walk you through and see what let her work her magic. Let her work her magic. She's done some amazing things. She will do whatever she can to help you out and make things happen. She gets creative, and with creative real estate comes creative financing. Okay, guys, I've got to get over to the VIP room. I'm 30 minutes late. This has been a phenomenal call, guys. So I've got VIP, then our last call is at 6 p.m. Central. Our last Coach's Corner. So I will see everybody, the VIP people, in about 30 seconds. Take care, guys. Yeah, thedreampartners.com. Go to thedreampartners.com.